美中晶片战争随着拜登任内发动最后一击，宣布要对中国成熟制程晶片启动301调查之后，在2025年一开局就很精彩。有媒体评论拜登的举措是在给川普提供跳板，也有媒体认为拜登的晶片战只是一场徒劳烧钱的游戏。当然，也有媒体认为中国糗大了，先是被拜登压着打，接着要被川普追着打。那面对这场不断加戏的晶片战争，现在进行到一个什么样的局面？
A couple of years ago, there was no CHIPS team at the Commerce Department. The CHIPS Act had just been passed. And today we have a couple hundred people working. We've made 30 grants to some of the best companies in the world, Texas Instruments, TSMC, Samsung, etc. We're on our way to being the only country in the world that designs, manufactures, and packages leading-edge semiconductors in our country. We've invested more than 90% of the money that Congress gave us, and that makes America stronger. It makes us less reliant on other countries for the semiconductors that we need to run our businesses, run the military, and be a leader in AI.
A week earlier, the Biden administration announced new sanctions on AI chip exports to China.
The U.S. government on Monday said it's launched a new probe into legacy Chinese semiconductors that may go into everything from cars to household goods and defense systems. The investigation will look into China's acts, policies, and practices on the production of silicon carbide substrates or other wafers used as inputs into semiconductor fabrication.
The United States has announced that it is opening an investigation into China's policies for its semiconductor industry over concerns that Beijing is turning to extensive anti-competitive and non-market means to undermine other economies. According to U.S. Trade Representative's office, the probe centers on foundational semiconductors or the older Chinese-made legacy semiconductors which go into everything from cars to medical devices, and whether China's actions create burdens for U.S. commerce.
Well, how does the latest CHIPS probe advance the U.S.'s efforts to curtail the Chinese chip industry?
Sure, Francine. So what the Biden administration has up to this point been spending a lot of its efforts and resources on is trying to curtail China's access to advanced chip technology, particularly when it comes to cutting edge chips that can be used with artificial intelligence and the like, as well as trying to bolster a lot of the U.S.'s own sort of homegrown chip ambitions. What this probe aims to do is actually target more legacy chips. So those are the kinds of things that are used in, cars, airplanes, telecommunications equipment, medical devices, that kind of stuff. So across a much wider range of different industries and such. But then I think, the other thing, and, the really important thing to kind of keep in mind here is that what this ultimately does is kind of opens the door for the Trump administration to then set in and set tariffs.
This month, China's top leadership signaled bolder economic support in the coming year. Beijing is readying itself for a fight when Donald Trump returns to office.
We will consolidate and strengthen the momentum of economic recovery and work to achieve steady and long-term economic development.
Already, it seems, a new trade war has begun. Earlier this month, China launched an investigation into chipmaker NVIDIA on suspicion it's violated anti-monopoly laws.
自从矽谷开创半导体技术以来，美国一直在半导体产业保持着主导的地位。然而，随着时间的推移，美国却丢失半导体制造业这块版图。商人出身的总统川普终究对市场是比较敏锐的。他在川普 1.0 的时候就想找回美国消失的制造业，可惜未能完成大业，只留下关税交棒给拜登。而从政治思考的拜登跟从利益思考的川普在找回消失的产业上所运用的手段是非常的不同。当拜登一再用小院高墙的策略想围困住中国的科技产业发展，却没想到换来的阻碍可能会影响川普 2.0 的布局。
China, while not a leader in manufacturing advanced semiconductors, holds a commanding position in the production and supply of critical rare earth minerals, accounting for almost 70% of global output. Now, these minerals are essential for creating integrated circuits, or the ICs, used in chips for civilian and military purposes. And as the demand for chips goes on increasing, so does their dependence on critical minerals. Now, in retaliation to the recent US export restrictions, which have just come, China has banned exports of key minerals such as gallium, germanium, and antimony, while tightening control over graphite exports. Now, this retaliation has further complicated global supply chains for chips. All these banned minerals by China are essential components in making integrated circuits of chips for both civilian as well as military applications. So, does that give China an upper hand?
In retaliation, China has imposed export curbs of its own, announcing an immediate ban on the sale of critical minerals like gallium, germanium, antimony, and super-hard materials to the United States. Additionally, the shipping of graphite will now be subject to stricter review. What happens when China decides it's done playing nice and slams the door on the US? No more minerals. No more critical tech materials. Just like that, the US's reliance on China for semiconductor chips, AI technology, and even military-grade equipment suddenly becomes a ticking time bomb. Is China making its move to dominate the future of global technology? Or is the US about to get a taste of its own medicine after years of acting as the world's tech overlord? Either way, this isn't an average trade dispute. It's the first round of a global tech war that could change everything.
这是危言耸听吗？根据 India CSR 近期一篇专题报道，当中提到，中国在关键稀土矿物的生产和供应中，的确是占据主导地位的。如今，中国的稀土限制出口政策已慢慢对世界产生影响，像是 T。由于中国的出口限制，已经导致2024年10月的出货量下降97%。虽然稀土不是中国才有的矿产，世界上很多国家都可以挖掘得到，但是开采、精炼都需要时间。就像拜登任内积极推动建设半导体工厂一样，美国如果缺少中国稀土的大量供应，最后受影响的绝对不会只有中国。有政治分析家认为，中国的行动是精心策划过的，目的是为了要凸显美国供应链的脆弱性。这点川普应该比拜登更有警觉性。否则他不会把要买格陵兰挂在嘴边。毕竟格陵兰有据称是全球第2大的稀土矿区，与全球第6大的铀矿区。此外，他对调停俄乌战争热情满满，背后着眼的又何尝不是也看到俄罗斯跟乌克兰同样也是镓的主要生产国。美国想要摆脱中国的钳制，就必须先健全所有的资源供应链。因此，拜登任内对中国下的猛药，对于接棒的川普是有利吗？即将卸任的美国商务部长雷蒙多最近在接受采访时表示，试图阻碍中国是愚蠢的行为，或许是有感而发。看看拜登政府当初为了减少美国对他国半导体的依赖，多么力挺英特尔，结果基辛格离职，拜登的任期不久后也将画下句点。而美国在半导体产业独立的这件事情上，也依然是未完待续。